Good evening, guys. I hope we are all well on this fateful Tuesday evening. It's been a while, so I'll apologise now for not being on in kind of recent week, guys. Okay, but we are here, guys. We are here. What I'm going to be talking about tonight is focusing on the title. This is about we live in a time of abundance, so I'll kind of strip it back. I'll be kind of touching on that a little bit more and how that may affect the choices that we kind of make as people when it comes to working towards our goals. I'll be focusing on how to kind of take a step-by-step approach or kind of a bit of an example of how that can be done, essentially that one. Again, these are all kind of work in progresses, and you're kind of taking on board how you will take it on board and you'll apply it the way you'll apply it as well. I do believe that a lot of, in any kind of walk of life, it is all down to trial and error a lot of the time, and I think health and fitness is absolutely no different to that, and through my experience of exercise as well. And then I'll be focusing on, I'll kind of touch on the basics of how to start building up protein and making a bit of a plan of action to be able to get there, essentially, as well. So what I will do after that as well is I'll be looking to add a cheat sheet that I've kind of in the process of making today as well. So I'll add that in tomorrow as well, so you'll be able to have a look at that, and then we'll go from there. And also the announcement of our 6-week accelerator that we'll be launching on the 4th of October as well. And I'll kind of go into a little bit more detail about that, guys. But if you are jumping on now and you are watching this back, should I say, please put hashtag replay. If you do have any questions at all about anything to do with life, do not ask me. But if it's to do with fitness, nutrition, mindset, then I may be able to help you a little bit with that one, guys. Okay, so yes, let's get started. So I kind of want to talk about, I listened to a podcast podcast called Modern Wisdom, and a guy called Ollie Marchon, who is quite big in the fitness industry and used to be a professional rugby player and now owns a facility down in Harpenden, which is Luton, where I think it is. Anyway, besides the point. But I kind of listened to a couple of points they made, and I think it's one of the key factors that we all kind of forget with this one, in that podcast. What he was suggesting is, at the moment, we are living in a time of abundance, basically. So we have too much choice, and we're kind of spoiled for it, basically. So whether that's to do with information or to do with different methods of exercise to hit a particular goal, whether it's to do with different diets, whether it's to do with fad diets or kind of ways that will kind of draw your attention away from kind of the bigger picture, the bigger kind of issues that we need to focus on when it comes to health and fitness. And this makes it harder when it comes to trying to put things in place when you're trying to work towards that goal. So seeing things and people and results on Instagram. Now, I don't really talk about it a lot, to be fair, because I try and stay away from it. But when you see people on Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is, and they have absolutely ripped, toned bodies, and you're thinking, fuck yeah, I want a piece of that. Now, or if someone has seen absolutely incredible results, and you kind of want to get that as well. I'm only going to touch on this, to be fair, because this isn't everyone here, and that's absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong with that. But I do think the concept is still the same. So, say, for example, you see people on Instagram and whatnot, and one of the key things that you need to kind of take into consideration is that what you see is the real, okay, as in like the Instagram reel of kind of what they pick and choose to put on there as well. We don't necessarily see the sacrifices that person may have made to kind of get those results. We don't see kind of the sets and the reps that they put in over probably a long period of time as well. Like, having been in this industry now for 11, 12 plus years, and when we get older as well, and like I say, none of us are that old in the grand scheme of things, but as we get older, it is a lot harder to kind of build strength. It is a lot harder to kind of lose body fat. Things get harder to kind of do, and I'll kind of touch on that a little bit more later on as well. But one of the things it doesn't kind of tell you don't see is how long it's taken someone to see or to get those results at the same time. So it's just something up to kind of take into consideration, guys, okay? We've got to be able to manage our lives and kind of really identify what it is. So as I mentioned about kind of managing injuries, they are easier to acquire as we get older, and they take longer to heal when it comes to lose body fat. It's harder to lose body fat. Not necessarily because the body changes, but also, and the hormones change, but also because of lifestyle and families and work and things around that as well, and kind of what you're able to do in being realistic with that. Increasing strength. Now, I really do kind of identify with this and relate to this in terms of the amount of effort for kind of marginal gain. So I had a target at one point of a 200 kg squat. Will I get there? Possibly. I mean, I think the way I'm going to do it is more to do with an equation that will allow me to estimate or guess, estimation to be able to squat 200 without actually doing it as well. So there is, I think one or two you may know this, there is an equation you could do to work out doing an AMRAP. Basically, I've got to do 150 kg, 10 reps on 150. And that will basically give me at 199, 1 rep max, basically. That's what it would be estimated to be. So that's kind of my target without necessarily doing a 1 rep max, just for safety purposes. So where am I going with this, basically? Kind of rabbit on a bit. But when it comes to any sort of kind of goal, when it comes to looking to lose body fat or add strength, I really want you to think about kind of your life and what you identify that with, what you identify yourself as kind of achieving essentially, and kind of what you want to do. So, I mean, it's tough for you guys because you guys do have families, you do have work, you have to perform in different arenas. For me, I'm a fitness professional, so it is easier for me to be able to kind of do these things. And when I kind of suggest certain things to you guys, I always say it with a pinch of salt. And that's why I'm a little bit kind of laid back in terms of trying to really kind of hammer people to get towards goals, because I understand that it is difficult to kind of drop everything, because you can't do that. And it's like, so the reason why I'm saying that is, who do you identify yourself as being? So say, for example, you want to lose weight quite rapidly. Now, yes, you can do that by dropping your calories. Of course you can. Is it sustainable over the long term? Do you want to kind of get ripped or toned as such? It is achievable. I'm not saying it's not achievable. It definitely is. But you've got to look at the bigger picture of what you may have to do to be able to get that, and the sacrifices, and there will be sacrifices 100% you'd have to make to get there. So it's trying to find that kind of happy medium when it comes to your lifestyle and things that you enjoy doing, but also kind of how you feel and where you want to be at the same time. So I hope that makes sense in terms of that, guys. So it's like knowing whether you can say super disciplined, and if you can do that, that's absolutely class. And I would never hold anyone back from doing that. But it's also about being realistic and kind of doing things within your means as well at the same time. I'll be honest, I really wouldn't want to get absolutely shredded. I don't think I can be bothered. And I'll use that. I don't think I can be bothered to kind of really try to push myself to do that. Don't want to lose a bit of weight? Yeah, of course I do. I want to get a little bit of my abs showing. Don't get me wrong. And I'll actually post something on my stories on Instagram as well about that a bit more. Because I think there's a story within itself. But yeah, so it's kind of, if you want to do that, that's great. But otherwise, when it comes to kind of your big goals and kind of what it is you want to achieve, and it depends on you and your goals essentially, and working towards them. One thing that we should focus on when it's about losing weight or adding strength is focus on trying to get the low-hanging fruit, essentially. And what I mean by that is focus on the simple things, focusing on these super, super simple things that will allow you to get there. As I mentioned before about, we live in a life of abundance right now. There's so much things that we can pick and choose. There's so much options in terms of foods that we could choose. There's so much options in terms of exercises we can choose. Obviously, because you guys work with me anyway, I probably take that element out there a little bit, and I'll kind of touch on that in a second anyway. But strip it back. Strip it absolutely back to its simplest form, essentially. So kind of 3 things to kind of make your life easier in this time of abundance, to go back to the absolute fundamentals to help you guys stay consistent and work towards your goal. And the first thing is being consistent with your training, and training 3 times a week, essentially. And again, taking the guesswork out of your training program, which I do for you anyway, so that kind of mentally frees you up a little bit. You are going to have days in which you do not want to exercise. You're gonna have days in which you are hungover and can't be arsed to exercise. You're gonna have days in which you just physically cannot be arsed, and that's fine. Okay, we all go through those. But again, at the same time, is 9 times out of 10, if you get that done, I think I've been bitten. To be fair, again, I've been bitten. Tell you what, if I've been bitten again, I'll be very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. But yeah, so what I was saying. I lost my point there. I take the mental aspect out of that, because I kind of do it for you. I do the program for you. Now, within that program, it's got progressive overload, which will allow you to get stronger over time if you're tracking your weight, tracking everything around that as well. But it's also got variety in there as well, to kind of give you that kind of variety for the mind as such, and stability for the body in terms of the exercise that we're doing themselves. So that's where keeping that in there, make sure training is a minimum. We get that in there. Number 2 is stripping it back with your meals and keeping things simple. Now, I've had discussions with a lot of people over the years. Me and Nim have had chats about this as well, and I will argue it till I'm blue in the face with it. We all eat the same foods, not necessarily me or you, but I mean, in terms of, you will always eat the same foods. You just may have it in a different format or a different. So it's the same kind of concept in terms of that. So what I mean by that is put constraints on what you do to give you the freedom. So what I mean by that is, in terms of the ingredients that you get the same things weekly, okay? It's very easy, and I've done it from time to time. I'm probably in a groove at the moment where I'm still getting the same foods week in, week out. It frees up my mind, so I know what to kind of cook, and we've got it in, essentially. So chicken and mince. My go-tos for mince are chilies and burgers. That's what I tend to make. I'm very boring when it comes to food. We also get chicken as well. What do we do with chicken? A curry every so often, but I'll just stick it in the oven and oven fry it. I'll bake it. It's done then. I can add it in with anything then. So if it makes a curry, I can chuck it into the curry, or my own curry. I can have a stir fry with it. I can have it with chips. I can have whatever it is I'm going to have it with. I can have it. I can make a stir fry with it. It's very, very easy for me to kind of do that as well. But just try different recipes with it as well. So say, for example, I've said about a chili spag bol, or have meatballs, create meatballs, or it could be, I don't know what else you could have, to be fair. You could take different types of burgers, different flavoured burgers, whatever it is. With a chicken, you could have chicken stir fries. I've already mentioned that. You can make more curries. You could do anything with it, essentially. You could do anything with it, okay? But make sure, I'm just choosing that as an example. It could be any types of food, but get the same foods week in, week out. Stick to it, keep things simple with that one. Also, on top of that is, in terms of takeaways, alcohol, anything that is kind of a pleasure as such. And again, there's nothing wrong with having those pleasures in life, okay? I'm not suggesting that you take them away. 100%, I'm not saying that because you shouldn't do it. But what I'm suggesting here is maybe put a cap on it. So whether you do it, I don't know, once a week, or once every 2 weeks, or twice a month at some point. You could do it for the first 2 weeks in October and then leave it for the rest of the month. So it's my birthday in October, so I'll probably have my birthday weekend. We'll probably have a little bit of that, and maybe the weekend after, but that'll be it. I probably won't do anything the first month and the last month of in October as well. So again, that's the way I would do it potentially. But again, it's kind of up to you with that one. But again, put a cap on it, because again, it adds structure to your life, but also it takes the stress out of, you'll have the stress out of it in terms, because you'll have the ingredients in the house, but you'll also have the stress out of it because you know what you're going to be doing as well, okay? don't underestimate the importance of planning, guys. Okay, I'm not saying that to patronise anyone as well, but it is super important with that one. It is something that does take time. Nim will kill me for that one because she says I need to plan more to fair, which is probably very, very true. But again, this is something that I'm going to be working on, and like I say, I'm happy to kind of work with you guys on this as well at the same time. But again, like I say, planning, although it will take a lot of time, a lot of effort, it will pay off in the grand scheme of things, okay? Spend a bit of time with that and iterate on those things that you put in place, and it'll make life a lot easier and a lot better with that one. And that's kind of my third point, is spend time on planning, to be fair. Planning the above. So planning your training, which again, like I say, it takes out, but just make sure you, maybe think with that is actually putting in what days you're going to do. But also with your nutrition and getting everything in the house as well, and your life and kind of how you're doing that. You do it for work. You probably do it for your family already anyway, which again, you have to do these things and you're kind of obliged to do them to a certain degree. And for the most part, you do it for your training anyway, because you'll probably have certain times and days in which you already train, which is awesome. But yeah, it's the same with with your eating patterns, same with kind of doing these things as well. Make it simple, don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't need to, essentially, that one. This, over time, will help you compound together and kind of help build towards a goal, essentially, that, guys. Okay, that brings us on to the next point in terms of working towards, not necessarily, well, we can kind of look at it as a big got a massive itch on my elbow. It's doing my head in. I don't know what it is. It's really pissing me off. But yeah, so kind of not necessarily working towards a big goal, but any sort of goal, whether it's big or small, whatever it is, essentially that one. Now, this is I was reading another article today from a guy called Proper Planning and Preparation Beats Piss Poor Performance, as they say. The way I used to know it was piss poor preparation leads to piss poor performance, basically. And to be fair, Nim's hit the nail on the head there with that one. Piss poor preparation leads to piss poor performance, essentially, with that one. But again, it's about trying to manage it to the best of your ability in terms of your lifestyle that you want to. And it comes back to my original point about identity, what you identify yourself as doing. I'm not saying you need to be super rigid, but if you can kind of get a majority of things put in place, it will make your life a lot easier to manage and a lot better with that one, guys, okay? It frees up your headspace a little bit as well. So yeah, I was reading an article from John Clark who referred to a film called Lone Survivor, which is basically about an ill-fated mission in Afghanistan, where I think there was like 5 people who went on this mission, and there was only one survivor called Marcus Luttrell, essentially, where he actually fell down a rock face and he was paralysed waist down, there and then. And basically, he could have stayed there and died in the blazing heat in the middle of Afghanistan. But what he actually did was, every single day, he knew he had to get himself out of there, so one way or another. So what he did to just get moving towards an Afghan village that he knew was close by, 7 miles away actually, to be fair, it was, had a knife, he drew a line. And every day he would drag himself head first over the line and then his feet over that line. And then he would do exactly the same again. Draw a line, get his head over the line, waist over the line, then feet over the line. Then do the same again. Draw a line, head, waist, feet. Draw a line, head. Why are you laughing at me like that? Head, waist, feet. Now, if you think about it, in that situation, if you're in that position, he could have laid there and died, but he didn't. But all he did was focus on the next thing in front of him, which was he drew a line, and it was just get his head over first, then his waist, then his feet. Okay, and he did that continuously for however many days. I can't remember. It was like 4 or 5 days it took him to get there. I think it was. To get to where he needed to be, essentially. And it's kind of the same, 7 miles, yeah. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to your health and fitness goals, essentially. Whether it's kind of, in terms of building strength, we've got the program sorted with that one, so you don't necessarily need to kind of focus on that as such, but focus on the actual tracking of things and writing it down. Is if you're looking to lift X amount of weight, so say, for example, you're I don't know, on a deadlift now of like 70 kilos, you want to get to 80 kilos. Then you're looking to get to 71 kilos or 72 kilos or 73 kilos. The next step up from that one, and a kilo at a time on top of that. And we do testing or AMRAPs regularly to be able to test that essentially with that one. Same with you trying to lose weight or body fat. Now, the way you can do that is if you've got like a big goal of losing like 10 kg, first target is lose 1 kg, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just focus on losing that 1 kg. Once you lose that 1 kg, focus on the next kg. So it's 2 kg in total. Then 3 kg, then 4 kg, and so on and so forth with that one, guys. Or if it's pounds that you're kind of measuring it. The concept's still the same, to be fair. Now, where am I going with this? These little steps that you are looking to take will compound over time, and you will then achieve your goal to be able to get there, essentially. So it's taking one step at a time, as my post yesterday on Instagram and Facebook is one step at a time to be able to step forward to where you want to be, the place that you want to be from where you are right now, essentially with that one, guys. Okay, and it sounds very simple, but it is sometimes as simple as that. Yes, there's a lot of things, a lot of the steps that I said before to be able to get to that point. But like I say, those things will compound over time. Things that don't necessarily work, yes, chop, change, try new things that kind of work for you. So it does work. Certain things will work, certain things won't work, and that's fine. But one thing is you're never kind of out of the fight, and you're never too far gone to be able to work towards your goal, guys. Okay, so it's always worthwhile doing these things, putting them in place to be able to kind of progress forward, team. Okay, and like I said, we've all kind of been frustrated before, but take the thinking out of it too much, guys. Okay, so I've kind of mentioned about kind of losing kg at a time, and even when it comes to running as well, if you want to kind of run like, I don't know, like 10k, 1k at a time, run 1k first, then look at running 2k, and so on and so forth with that one, guys. Okay, so I hope that makes sense with that one. I've kind of gone in a bit of like not a rant as such, but kind of looking at the bigger picture in terms of kind of what you are looking to do with that, and how things you can kind of set in place. That we live in a time of abundance, so it's time to kind of strip things back, constrain your options, so it gives you a little bit of freedom to be able to do things you want to do, but put constraints on those to make it a little bit more manageable and to give you that structure, so you're able to kind of reward yourself as such from there. Kind of next point I want to talk about then, guys, as well, is kind of how to build your protein up within a day / over a week as well. Now, I've kind of talked about this quite a lot, to be fair, in previous videos as well, but one thing I want to kind of touch on first things first, essentially, is this will completely depend on your goal in terms of calories and how that is affected as well at the same time. If you are on if you are quite a small person, petite person, and you are looking to lose a couple of kilos, that one's not a lot, so your calories are going to be quite low anyway. So you want to be aware of your protein intake. You probably want to drop it a little bit to increase your carbs. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty bleak for you, okay? But on the flip side of that, if you've got more to lose, then you've got a little bit more leeway with that one, okay? But as I've always said, and I'll still always stand by this as a target in terms of protein intake, what you're looking to do is 2 grams per kilo of body weight or target body weight, okay? Now, in terms of that, even if you get to around 10 to 20% of that, okay, guys, 10 to 20% of that, I tell you what, you're probably doing a hell of a lot better with a lot of people, okay? Doing a hell of a lot better than people who are trying to up the protein intake, or aren't even aware of the protein intake, to be fair. So don't worry necessarily too much about that, okay, guys? But as I said with that one, 2 grams per kilo of body weight, and if you hit within 10 to 20% of that, you're on to an absolute winner, okay? Because what that will do, it help satiate your hunger levels. But like I say, if you give yourself that little bit of leeway, the 10 to 20% below, it doesn't do it at the expense of foods you may enjoy. So I'm talking about kind of carbs. If you kind of do crave carbs from time to time, you need to get it in you, then sometimes it's worthwhile dropping your protein intake slightly to be able to add that in there as well. Especially if you are going on nights out or eating out, things like that. It's always worthwhile kind of doing for that one, guys, okay? So don't get too hung up and thinking, shit, I'm nowhere near hitting the 2 gram per kilo target body weight. I'm well under that one. To be fair, if you're hitting around, say for example, your target is 200, you hit 150, that's fine. If your target is around 120, if you get to around 90, 100, you're absolutely fine. If your target's around 100, around 90 will probably be fine, okay, with that one, give or take. And if you go above, you go above, to be fair. But again, it's trial and error with these things, okay? There's no... You go off how you feel. If you feel more comfortable having more protein and you're performing well, you are dropping weight or you're adding muscle mass at the pace you want to, then that's absolutely fine. If you feel you're hungry still or you have a little bit of cravings, sometimes it's worth kind of dropping the protein content a little bit and increasing the carbs or maybe the fats ever so slightly as well. But again, it depends on kind of how you want to go about it with that one, guys, okay? So next bit, in terms of protein for the day. And as I said before, this completely depends on the planning. So as I said a bit earlier in the live as well about kind of planning what it is you do. So again, I'm not saying this to patronise, but it is keeping things super simple. Me, in my own mind, I have a baseline of what I would get. So whether you do that in a list or whether you kind of subconsciously know what you're going to get when you go shopping, that's absolutely fine. But if you feel you need to do it, then I would suggest always making a shopping list. Okay, so when you go to the supermarket, create a shopping list and only get things on that shopping list essentially with that one. Okay, because it's very, very easy to start going, I'm going to grab that, 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 I'm going to grab that. And that's where things go wrong. So stick to the shopping list. And again, remember what I said about the constraints. If it means adding some of the things that you enjoy, treats, onto that list, if you've got the constraints in place, it will work, okay? But it's got to be on the list. You've got to have the constraints on it. When you're going to have certain things, how you're going to work it, bang it onto the list and get it from there, guys, okay? From there, what I suggest is make a list, or to be fair, you could probably do this first, actually. Make a list of options, what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or tea, whatever you want to call it, with options for your protein, basically, within that, in protein content, and then kind of look to add things around it, essentially. So shopping list and that will kind of coincide, essentially, with that one. Probably make the shopping list, the list of options, what you have for breakfast stuff, and then make the shopping list, because then you can go from there, essentially, with that one. But what I will actually do with that one as well is I'll add I have started creating a cheat sheet, to be fair. So I'll finish that up tomorrow and add it into the Facebook group as well, so you can have a look at that. So you've got some options for you. But yeah, so have a look at your breakfast, lunch, and your dinner, and things that you can kind of add in. So I'll kind of give you some egg examples, examples. Brilliant, didn't even mean to do that. So, say for example, for breakfast, my go-to breakfast is, I've got kind of three go-tos, to be fair. So one would be scrambled egg on toast with beans. With that one, maybe add, I don't know, a couple of tomatoes on there as well for some veg in there. That's fine. The eggs, I'll probably have like 3 to 4 eggs, so that'll probably give me in the region of 18 to 24 grams of protein without counting the beans or the toast in that as well. That'll probably slightly bump it up anyway, so probably, let's say about 30 grams of protein, which is absolutely fine. My other option is yogurt, and so phase yogurt and protein powder with fruit in there. So you have blueberries or bananas. Again, that's a minimum of 30 grams of protein, which again really does allow me to kind of bump up or start that kind of that protein level from the off with that one. With my other option, when it comes to close towards winter time, which you probably seen, if you've been on and look to my stories, winter is coming. I had porridge and I was absolutely starving after doing a conditioning session. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. I had, porridge protein powder, full scoop of protein powder, Nutella dollops in there, lots of them, and some fruit. I had banana in today, didn't have blueberries, anything like that, which again will give me around 30 to 40 grams of protein. So again, I'm starting to build up a little bit of a profile here, okay? So either one of those gives me 30 grams of protein minimum, okay? Absolute minimum in terms of that. So next meal, probably my lunch. Again, depending on what I've had with my breakfast, it could be scrambled egg, beans and toast, as I've mentioned just there, or it could be as an option if I haven't had that in the morning. So other option could be, if I've had like leftovers from a chili from the night before, I'll have chili. Usually it's around 250, 300 grams of mince with that one, which will probably give me 30 around 30 grams of protein, give or take, with that one. Yeah, 30 grams of protein. But again, that's not including the rice that I may have with it as well. So again, that's always going to bump it. Although it's quite high in carbs, rices, it does have protein in it, to be fair, as well. So that'll bump me up to around 35, 40 grams of protein with that one. So we can see there straight away, I'm on to 70 grams of protein, give or take 70, 80, whatever it is, depending on the nitty gritty with that one. Or it could be a chicken sandwich. So if I've kind of baked put chicken in the oven from the night before, literally bang it on a sandwich, bang some lettuce and tomatoes on there, chill on that bad boy. Probably minimum 30 to 40 grams of protein with that one. So again 70 to 80 with that one. I'll have something around 4 or 5 o'clock as well. So again, that'll probably be probably same of what I've had before, to be honest with you. I'm quite boring when it comes to food, which again will add 30 to 40 grams, so either the chili or the chicken sandwich, again depending with that one. And then in the evening, I'll kind of have whatever, to be fair. Again, it'll probably be the same of what I've eaten. I keep things quite simple, to be honest with you. Or even if I've like had a frozen pie, to be fair as well, I think they've got like 21 grams of protein in with that, and I'll chuck in loads of peas. Yeah, it's processed, but whatever, to be fair. Like the rest of my day has been quite good. Doesn't really matter, to be fair. Focus on getting the protein in there, and that gives me another 21, 30 grams with that one again, with the peas, because that's going to bump it up a little bit. So that gives me, what, around 130 grams of protein. So what I could do from there, probably what I'll do around training anyway, before or after, or before and after, depending on how I'm feeling, is I'll always have like a protein shake as well. Now, you don't have to do that. If you can get your protein in without necessarily having a protein shake, I would always suggest that, because food is better, 100%. And I do think I'm a bit dodgy with where I think it's happened. I think it has happened, guys. It has happened. It's going right through me at the moment. But yeah, so I have a protein shake before and after, sometimes before or after, depending on how I'm feeling. Again, that's around 25 grams of protein, and I've hit 150 right there, guys, okay? Super simple. And again, as I said, without necessarily tracking or looking at the nitty-gritty of what is in the other food, the other bits of food will have elements of protein in there as well. So you probably notice that will bump it up ever so slightly as well. So again, that's an easy way to kind of bump it up. If anyone's kind of over 150 grams of protein in this group, again, it's just adding little bits and bats to that as well. But it's super important that you track, okay? It's super important you track your food so you know what you're having with it, okay? And again, there's nothing wrong with having your constraints in there to be able to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of things that you want to have. But yeah, what I'll do as well, actually, guys, now is I'll kind of give you some high protein snacks as well. So because it depends on, it's easy for me in terms of my work, so I can do that. So not everyone can, because it's busy life, busy jobs, or you don't have time to eat between certain times. Your kind of times in which you don't eat are going to be longer or a bit more spaced out. So it might be you can only have a snack. So things you could probably have snacks with, so beef jerky, or even the veggie jerky as well, because no one gets the veggie jerky. But beef jerky is usually packed around 30 grams, but that's around 11 grams of protein with that one. I think the veggie jerky, which name's going to pop out right now, hey, Kings, is, oh shit, that's quite a lot, huh? It's fucking lot. My God, there's loads in this. 24.5 grams. That's 100 grams, all that is. 100 grams. 24.5 grams of protein in that alone, to be fair. So if Nim wanted to get a bit freaky, baby, then she can eat all that. It's got 25 grams of protein. Easy. Or if you get like smaller packs, 30 grams of protein, it's probably around the 10. Probably around the 8 gram marker with that one. But again, it's bumping it up with that one. Taking boiled eggs in with you is absolutely fine. One small egg is just around 6 grams of protein. Large eggs, probably around 9, 12 grams of protein, give or take with that one. Now, don't take into consideration the calories as well. So again, you've got to have a look at that as well at the same time, guys. Cottage cheese, around like 100 grams of cottage cheese, around 10 grams of protein. Protein bars, like we'll kind of use a grenade. Protein bars around 22 grams of protein with that one. Grilled chicken bits for 84 grams when you get it in like a Tesco or a Morrison's, something like that, is around 22 grams with that one. I think you can get like the fake chicken bits as well. I don't know what the brand is. It's like a vegan one, which is a bit lower than that, to be fair. It doesn't taste as good, but I think it's like 20 grams with that. Why are you looking at me like that? You said it doesn't taste nice, so don't give me that. Things like tin mackerel, if you like, tin mackerel sardines is around like 15 grams. They're about like 125 grams, give or take, with that one. Actually, I used to have tins of sardine when I was younger as well. Moving on. Mixed nuts, 30 grams, around 5.3 grams of protein. Just the problem with nuts is you just got to be aware of the fats. Again, this is super important where you track your food as well, because if you're not tracking your food, then that's where it can kind of all fall down. If you're looking to lose weight, that is, with that one. You can make protein balls as well, but I'm not going to go into that one because it depends what you get. And like I said, protein yogurt as well, like the Arla protein yogurt is around 20 grams of protein as well, guys. So there's ways we can actually kind of bump it up for just snacks alone, just by doing that. I have a couple of them. You've got 30 grams, 40 grams of protein, quite easy for that. They're without necessarily having a sit-down meal, which is absolutely fine with that, guys. Okay, but what I will do tomorrow is I'll add a vegetarian one in as well. I do have a veggie one as well. So I'll add that in the group tomorrow, guys. And then you can have a look at that and apply it from there too.
Baby Bell.
Baby. So Baby Bells, I think there's 3 Baby Bells. It's 4 enough. 3 or 4 Baby Bells actually comes up to around 30 grams of protein, actually. We don't get them anymore.
Because you eat them all.
Because I eat them all. Because it's got loads of protein in them. Yes, guys. Anyway, so that is all tonight, guys. That is all tonight. So I hope you found that useful. So we've kind of spoken, just a quick recap. We've spoken about kind of, because we live in a life of abundance right now, it's about stripping things back to its absolute simplest form, putting constraints on your kind of your life as such, your lifestyle, so you give yourself the rewards of what you want to do, whatever that may be, and then constraints can be as big or as small as you want, essentially, with that one. Example might be having a takeaway once a week or once every 2 weeks or twice a month, whatever it is. With that one, I'm putting it on certain days. Add it into your kind of your structure and your lifestyle, so it creates freedom for the mind, essentially, with that one. And kind of sticking to it with that, guy, as well. In terms of working towards your goals, break them down into small habits, okay? And kind of keep chipping away at those habits, because aim for the 1 gram, 1 kg a week, losing that one, or look at adding 1 kg a week in terms of your strength, or one a month, whatever it is, and just keep chipping away at that, guys, essentially, at that one, and be consistent at the same time, okay? And then finally, we've talked about protein, so I've kind of gone through how to kind of get your lists in place to make it easy for you, and then gone through certain sources that you could potentially apply as well. I will be adding those cheat sheets into this group tomorrow as well, so you can have a look at those. There will be a vegetarian/vegan one too, so don't worry about that. I'm not mentioning too much because I haven't got it up right now, the information on it, so I don't want to kind of chuck out random numbers out there as well. But I know Nim and Heleno is a fesh. We'll have quite a lot of info on that already anyway. So if you do have anything to add to that, then please do. Yes, guys, that is all from that team, so I'll add them in tomorrow. Now, on the 4th of October, guys, we'll be launching our 6-week accelerator program. So this is where 6 weeks of absolute carnage. So if you are looking to accelerate your results, then do get involved with that one. Week 1, we'll be looking at kind of mindset and getting to the right headspace for the goal that you are actually working towards, and how to break that down, essentially. Week 2, we'll be looking at habits, get into very, very positive habits. So we can kind of look at the long term, essentially with that one, rather than it being just a quick, short-term thing that we're looking to kind of blast results. Yeah, we are, but looking to kind of set them in place. Week 3, we focus on homing on nutrition specifically, and specific for your goals, essentially, that one. So week 2, we'll still kind of give nutrition habits in there, and week 1 as well. But week 3, where we'll make it a little bit more specific for you, again, looking at the longer term benefits with that one. Week 4, we're looking at kind of getting your training on absolute point. Yes, we've got the program in place already, but how to get the best out of it even more so, essentially that one, and how to add and to dial right up, but also how to dial it down as well at the same time to really accelerate results, but also to maintain at the same time and keep working basically. Week 5 is tying everything together, so the mindset, the habits, the training, nutrition, and that all together with that one. And then week 6 is where we look at longevity essentially with that one, guys. Okay, squad. So I'll be adding more information in the group over the coming days, specifically how to get involved with that, guys. But as I say, if you have watched this, please do give it a like. If you have watched it after, do put hashtag replay. And if any questions do pop up about anything I have spoken about tonight as well, then please do fire away, guys. Like I say, any questions, always here to kind of answer those as well, guys. But hope you all have a magical evening. I am going to watch Blackburn Rovers get beat off Hull City at home now, the joys. And I'll see you all. If you're in sessions, I'll see you all tomorrow. Or if not, guys, I will catch up with you all very soon, guys. Okay, so peace out, A-Town, down.